Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Two turf stakes races on tap at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. Let's throw up the field for race number 9. This is the Melody of Colors. We're going 5 furlongs on turf for 3-year-old fillies. $75,000 is the purse. We are expecting a solid field in here, Mike. A couple of horses returning off layoffs, a couple of horses switching surfaces. From a speed perspective, we'll take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. The 7 Foolish Humor is expected to show the pace. And if Foolish Humor gets out of the gate, we do know she has plenty of zip.
Yeah, she's a fast horse. I won't be surprised to see her on the lead, but there are other speeds in this race too. This is a very interesting race.
Let's start things off with a long shot. That's the number 1, Randy Abbey. Randy Abbey raced on turf 2 starts back. It was over good going. She didn't run necessarily well, and then she was 78-1 in a stakes race on the dirt last time out. She just looks a bit overmatched on paper.
I mean, it's a really tough spot for her. She has won sprinted on turf before, but that was when she was able to make the lead, and she can't make the lead in this race, Dan.
And her race 2 starts back, just to compare the competition and what she's facing on Saturday. The 4th horse in that race, Randy Abbey, finished 5th, came back. She was 2nd in a state-bred non-winners of one other, then only earned a 64 buyer. Compensate, the number 2, is a very, very interesting horse, because if you take out the race against Tonalist Shape, doubtlessly one of the better 3-year-old fillies in the country, well, Compensate has run 3 races in a row, 1 on synthetic. I guess the big bugaboo is turf, but she was entered for the turf last time out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, she's only run on turf once. That was in her 2nd career start at Woodbine. I thought she ran really well that day. She was in a duel basically right from the start. She prevailed in that duel and only got run down late by a horse who sat a perfect trip. I think this horse can handle turf. I think she's a huge player in here.
With a name like Take Charge, you got to figure that she's based up in Canada, and she's going to be making her first start of the form cycle after a pretty decent season at 2 over the synthetic surfaces at Woodbine. She was a winner last time out in very professional fashion. She put herself right off the hip of the pace setter. Now, they weren't going very fast, and I wonder if she will be outpaced, turning back to 5 furlongs off the layoff, against some very fast horses. She's only raced once on turf. I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt for that race because it was on yielding ground.
I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt for that one as well. I think she does deserve another chance. I liked her win, as you say, to close out her 2-year-old campaign. I thought she looked good winning that race, but it's sort of a different situation here, Dan. Layoff, going a lot shorter, a lot of speed in this race. There are things working against this horse.
The 4 Hear My Prayers last running line doesn't look good, but I think it's meaningless. When you're handicapping this race. It's a 7.5 turf race, and last time out, she was just on the lead, going long. For folks that are unfamiliar with Gulfstream Park, 7.5 furlongs is a 2-turn race, and Hear My Prayer basically wasn't ready for that. Her race 2 starts back. She showed a lot of early speed. She looked good winning. I think there are some class concerns, but she's fast out of there.
Yeah, we'll see if she stacks up against some better horses here. But her 2 turf sprints, the one over this track when she broke her maiden, and then her next start over at Gulfstream West, she looked really good in both of those races. Just way too fast for those horses. Never gave either of those fields a chance to even contend with her. She looked really good in those 2 wins. That I think she's going to be tough in here.
The 5 is Mrs. Mizell, and Mrs. Mizell last time out raced on dirt, so you can confidently draw a line through that race. Let's go back to Mrs. Mizell's race 2 starts back, a starter optional claiming event where she sat off of the pace. She came with a good solid run. You have to remember, this is a much weaker class of horse. The runner-up did come back to win at Tampa Bay with a 75 buyer speed figure on dirt. She is going to have to step it up, but I do like her running style, and she seems consistent enough.
I mean, I like her turf sprints. Every time that they've sprinted her on grass, I think she's run well in all those races. The win 2 back especially, I thought she ran really well in that race. She's easily a contender in this race as far as I'm concerned.
The 6 is Reggae Revolution, trying turf for the first time, coming off a 3rd place finish at Gulfstream Park on March the 12th. Let's take a look at that race right now. She showed good speed. She battled it out early. I didn't think the fractions were especially fast, and she just didn't have it in the lane. There's a little bit of turf here. She's a half to a horse named Savannah Bell, who was stakes place going very long, about I think 1.5 miles on the turf. Other than that, there's not much. Revolutionary 1 for 27 with first-time turf runners.
Yeah, I didn't see enough pedigree here to get interested in this horse, Dan. Her dirt form doesn't make her a contender. She's going to have to be a lot better on grass.
Foolish Schumer is the 7. She ran on turf last time out, but that was all the way back in September. She was not able to get the forward position that she desires. Her prior start, the Colleen, her first race returning from Royal Ascot for Wesley Ward. Well, she was the beaten favorite that day, but she took on a promising horse named Miss J. McKay, and then she was placed first via disqualification. In some ways, she's the horse to beat because she showed a lot of promise as a 2-year-old.
She did. I mean, you can give her, I guess, some excuse for that last one in the Caress where she got bumped at the start and couldn't get forward. Her other 2 races, stateside anyway, I thought they were good. I wasn't blown away by them, Dan, but I thought that they were good. And certainly Miss J. McKay, who handled her in that Monmouth race before she got promoted. Miss J. McKay is a pretty nice horse.
Just Smoking's the 8. She has never sprinted on the turf, and she was one of 3 next out winners coming out of a turf route on New Year's Day. Her win, however, came in an off-the-turf race at a big price on dirt with a low buyer speed figure. Her 2 turf runs, albeit going long, not encouraging enough for me to get involved even at a price.
I kind of agree with you. I mean, I could see somebody wanting to keep an open mind with her as they sprint her on turf for the first time because she's probably more of a sprinter, but her races so far do not make her a contender here.
I am not sure that the 9 Silver Tunes is good enough to win a race like this, but she can play a role in the outcome. Timeform US disagrees with me. They do not have Silver Tunes out there on the lead. I think this horse is plenty fast enough to make life miserable for whoever wants the lead.
I agree with you. I think she does have a lot of speed. I don't know if I feel like she's good enough to beat this, but I think this is a pretty tough spot for her. But I agree with you. I think she's going to be forward in this race.
Multiple stakes placed, still alive, multiple stakes placed on dirt. She's only raced once previously on turf. It was not a bad effort at all. She finished 3rd at Laurel behind Hello Beautiful, who emerged as the best 2-year-old filly in Maryland on dirt after that race. She won 2 state-bred stakes races with buyers of 76 and 95. I wonder how much upside is there. That's the one concern because she's faced good company. This will be start number 9. It's a lousy outside post position.
Yeah, true. I actually am interested to see what she does back on grass because I didn't think her only turf start was a terrible performance. I think she can do better than that.
Free the Beast is a 1-run closer, and I assume she's simply going to be taken back to last, hope for a suicidal pace up front and to come with a pretty decent late run. The 5th horse of her most recent race came back to win, but only with a $20,000 claiming tag attached and a 66 buyer speed figure. She's going to need a lot of things to go her way from out there.
Yeah, she's going to need a fast pace, and then I think she will come running. To me, she was sort of the most interesting long shot in the race, if only because she really didn't have much pace in that last race at Tampa. They didn't go fast. She was still at the back at the top of the stretch, and she actually made a pretty nice run to gain some ground. And her trip 2 back is one that you should go back and watch when she was behind Mrs. Maisel because she did not get a good trip in that race, and I think she ran better than it looks.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Melody of Colors Stakes. It's a wide open race. Mike, where are you heading?
You know, I was torn between the 2 in this race, Compensate, and the 4, Hear My Prayer. They're the 2 horses I liked best, though. I'm going to put Hear My Prayer on top, Dan. I like her 2 turf sprints quite a bit, and cutting back is supposed to be just what she wants.
He certainly has proven form on turf. She's 3-1 on the morning line. Take Charge A, as we mentioned. There are a lot of things that are going to go against her in this race. She's turning back, and she might simply be out sprinted on the face of it. Then I look at the recent work tab. I see 3 furlongs in 35, a couple of bullets in 47. Maybe this trainer has her sharp, and she can be a bit close to the pace. If that's the case, her synthetic buyers or buyer from her most recent race puts her in the mix at a price. She's 8-1 with Javier Castellano. It's the Melody of Color Stakes. It kicks off a 50-cent pick 4 at Gulfstream on Saturday, and it has an approximate post of 4:40 Eastern. Good luck.